Hi, I'm Rebecca, and these are my dirty glasses that no matter what will reflect some sort of light in the room. But since I can't film in the darkness, you just get to suck it up. Today, I'm going to talk about counterfeit tarot decks, or fake tarot decks, or however you want to put it. We all know that tarot decks are very pricey, and that's because it does take a lot of materials and work and effort to put one out in the world. And I'm very lucky with the Magical Buffet website. I've been given a large quantity of tarot decks over the years in the hopes that I'll give them reviews on my website, which many of them have. Also, even before I had the website, I was a big fan of tarot, so I already had a lot of decks of my own. And I continue to buy decks because tarot decks, like tattoos, once you get one, you just keep accumulating. And the thing is that I've known for years that people have been buying very cheap tarot decks. And obviously, I'm not cool with that because I like to see the creators get the money that they deserve for creating the deck. And so I've been hesitant to really explore it, but I finally just got so curious. And so what I did was I ordered one, two, three, four different tarot decks. All of them were $5 or less. And I made sure to order them, made sure to select decks that I had the real, genuine decks, obviously, to compare them to, and also from a representative of different companies. So I chose decks from Llewellyn, from US Games, and from Inner Traditions, kind of known as the Big Three, because either them or their imprints. So I want to compare and contrast the decks and just, talk about it a little bit. So the first one that I obviously jumped at the opportunity to compare with was, it's a big boy, is Hoodoo Tarot deck. And first off, this is an amazing deck. The author, creator, the creator I follow on Instagram, fascinating woman, and this deck is still one of the greatest tarot decks of all time, in my opinion. Not just for being a tarot deck, but being an informational source. I've learned a lot about hoodoo from this thing, and that's because, so first off, I believe they're still selling it in this sort of packaging. So you've got this, but you also have, which is where the value really came in, was this awesome book. And each of these cards is, based on real, like, hoodoo traditions and people. And so I just learned a lot just from reading the book. You could sell the book as its own little cheap hoodoo, like 101 almost, and it would be great. So you've got the big ass book here, and then you've got just wonderful deck. Trying to think. I mean, just, it's like, your magician is, let me try not to have glare, is Black Herman. It's like, it's a wonderful deck, well executed, high quality, zero complaints. It's sold out. It sells again and again. I recommend it to anyone highly. So, because I have such a high opinion of that deck, when I saw that I could get a cheapy one, I decided that I wanted to compare. So obviously the first thing is, and it's how even legitimate tarot decks cut costs, is no big book. Now I enjoy the big books. I like big books, and I cannot lie. So I like the big books, but even like Llewellyn makes what they call mini decks, and it's like, hey, you want a tarot deck from Llewellyn for like $10? You buy the mini deck, it's smaller, no book. So I mean, just by not having the book, they're cutting corners on saving some money. As far as the packaging goes, it is your standard, like, sturdy deck of cards packaging. But here's what we got to see. So let's crack this puppy open and see what we got here. All right. So, all right. Let's see what we've got going on. Whoa. Hey. Are these not in order? Is that what's going on here? I just want to kind of compare. So I was looking for, I have, what's on the top over here? So I've got, this is from the original deck. We've got Black Herman #1. So first off, all right, so it got a little out of order. So here's Black Herman from our knockoff deck. See, so not only no book, it is smaller in size, which, that isn't really so much of a problem. I'm trying to... Okay, so the cardstock is definitely a little flimsier, which might not be so bad because the size of the cards are smaller, so they won't need to get bent and jacked around so much for shuffling. It does appear to be, just thumbing through it casually, a complete tarot deck. I'm not seeing, repeats or any missing cards off of the top of my head. No, I gotta say, no deck, and no book. And that's a real problem with this particular deck because she really rewrote the tarot for this. So, some tarot decks, you can wing it without a book, but you can't really wing this one unless you know for sure what's going on with it. And the lack of any sort of book or instructions is a problem. Now, if you see on the back here, just like, they have you can scan a QR code to get the book. Now, my husband told me that he would consider divorce if I started scanning random QR codes or going to random download sites from buying counterfeit goods. And that's a pretty reasonable thing. And so and occasionally I'll see online, somebody will have bought a counterfeit deck. They'll have scanned the QR code or gone to a website and their computer got a virus or something weird like that. So I don't recommend going to any of those sites, which is why, again, although not bad as far as quality, this isn't a deck you can wing without a book. You need somebody to do some translating for you. So, although not horrible, I'm just curious. So obviously, when you look at, let's go ahead and take a look here. So if you look at the back of this, the OG, it says Destiny Books, which is an imprint of Inner Traditions. I'm just curious here if anywhere on here they actually, so they credit the artist and creator, but nowhere on this does it say Destiny Books or Inner Traditions. So they're not putting that on there. So that was Hoodoo Tarot. Let's do an arbitrary scale of 5. You could just buy the damn thing and call it a day, to 1, do not recommend. I'm going to say we're going to give this a 2 because overall the quality wasn't horrible, but without a guidebook, you could have some serious issues actually just using the deck. And since I don't recommend the QR codes, this one actually is more like a 1 because if you don't know, you don't know. Now, I guess if you use the Hoodoo Tarot a bunch, you're really familiar with it, you need a cheap backup or replacement, or it's out of stock if you needed to buy a new copy, something like that, you could maybe get away with that. Yeah, that's that then. So I also wanted to get one from US Games because they are just as funny as it is, they are the big dogs of tarot, which they started as, a card game company. So it's not like, but the founder is actually a huge tarot fanatic. Stuart Kaplan, I believe, was his name. and he recently passed away, had a huge, impressive tarot collection. So I wanted to at least get one deck that was a U.S. Games deck that I had, and then get a knockoff, because we tend to, if you follow these sorts of things, you tend to view us U.S. Games as like kind of the tarot people. So here we've got. So I went with, because I don't know if I made this one of my favorites of the year or not, but we have the Botanical. So I try not to get any more glare. Ugh, I'm so bad at this and have such a horrible setup for it. So this is Botanical Inspirations. It is a oracle, not a tarot. So I thought that would make an interesting thing, because, oracles are definitely a little lighter on rules. So this is the OG. It's got this really cute little flip box. Inside, you've got your oversized book that I love these. You know what I hate? I hate those little ones that are just the printed paper that get all torn and scrunched and always make it hard to open and close your deck boxes. So the change to this is kind of the standard deck book. Highly recommend, highly like. And then this, I don't know if they still do this, but it also came with this cute little bag to carry your deck in, for those of you that do that sort of thing. I tend to be a keep it in the box kind of gal, but that's me. And then we've got the cards themselves. You've got, it came with, I forgot all about this. Yeah, it came with this cute little botanical little guide thing that you can't read because of the glare. And then you've just got loads of really pretty botanical cards. Let's pick one that's fun, just to, so we've got our little comparison one again. So let's see, I went with the card Forget Me Nots. So I go, whoop. That's going to be our compare one. And then let's go ahead and slide all this back in and out of the way, just for fun. Whoop. All right, so then here is the cheapy knockoff version that I bought. Again, just like with the others, you can tell, step one. Oof. Step one, get this glare off of everything that I'm doing. Okay, let's see if that helps. Step one. So step one, little size comparison. Still horrible glare. Enjoy that, everyone. Not as big of a difference in size. We already went through the whole, why is it smaller? So there's no book. Just like the other one, there's a QR code on it. And while I'm out here, let's just take a look. I looked at the back of this before I picked it up. Has its US Game logo on it. This, again, is scan a QR code. Okay, now the packaging claims that I'm still going to get in here, in this deck box, is the cards, the guide book, fold-out guide to the secret languages of flowers, and an organza pouch. So they needed that big old box to do it for that one. Now I am having trouble getting it open, and maybe that's because it's all crammed in there. Ugh. Okay. That was a workout. Let's get these cards out. You know what didn't come up falling out? An organza pouch or a book. There was the little about the illustrations card, but yeah, so they straight up lied on the packaging. Yeah. Oh, although, hey, wait, no, the little botanical fold out is in here. Flimsier paper, smaller size. Let's, okay, I'm just trying to get to the forget-me-not here. Okay, so, just like before, card size difference, crazy. crazy card size difference. But this one, super, super noticeable difference in cardstock quality. These are nice and firm. They're gonna hold up for shuffling. These are the OGs, the originals. This is like, I mean, the cardstock I use frickin' to make my own personal greeting cards at the holidays and stuff is better than this. Is flimsy AF. I do not like. Yeah, these, I mean, yes, you're gonna be able to shuffle them okay, but yeah, just so not. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, oh, it feels weird to like, I mean, it doesn't feel so bad when you've got them all together, but you know, it's like, I'm a professional tarot card reader, you know, pay me $50 to give you your botanical inspiration reading, and then you like, they pull out one of these cards and feel that it's like, I mean, you're gonna accidentally break the card. It's just so flimsy. Oof. No, do not like. So on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm gonna go with a 2. Cardstock quality, horrible. But you're not as in desperate of need of like a guidebook or anything like that. You might not have to scan the hinky code to use it. So we're gonna go with that. But oof, I thought that the other knockoff Hoodoo Tarot deck was like kind of a questionable cardstock, but whew, top notch compared to this one. This one, flimsy. All right. So I had to, obviously, first off, almost anything about anything involves Llewellyn in this world because Llewellyn is everywhere. But on top of that, I couldn't resist trying out the Everyday Witches Tarot, which I grabbed the wrong one. I have the Everyday Witches Oracle. So, problem. I have to get up and get the tarot box now. Ugh. Are you? Ah! So many tarot decks! This had better be... No, that's the one in Spanish! How come I'm getting the one in Spanish? Where's the original? Here's the original! Oh my god! Give me my deck! Try not to knock over everything in the room! Oof! I'm too old to get up and down like this, people! Ugh! No one to blame but myself! Ugh! Let's try this again. So I went with the Everyday Witches Tarot because not only is it an incredibly popular, well-known deck from a large company called Llewellyn Publishing, done by an equally well-known, established artist, Elizabeth Alba, but also it's created by Deborah Blake, and most of you who know me know that Deborah Blake and I are buds, and so I couldn't resist checking out and see what the counterfeit's like. So we've got, so first off, obviously, super nice box, magnetic little flippy out. You've got your little ribbon to help you pull this out. And here is your big old book. So your big old book. And then we have got the deck itself. Let's see. And what's a favorite of mine? There's a lot. Actually, we'll go with this one. She's kind of saucy. So we've got the Wheel of Fortune card here. Again, glare all to heck. And look at the cute back of the cards. Oh, so cute. I gotta say, and I mean, this was like a fresh right out of the run one. But honestly, does anyone else remember the card stock quality of the OG is kind of easier than I remember. That's weird. So anyway, we've got our knockoff, which let's check everything. Does not. So first off, the packaging claims that I'm going to get the big ass book in it, which I don't think is going to happen. Also does not mention Llewellyn anywhere on here. You're saving from getting the smaller deck size. Now, hey, I don't see anything on here telling me to scan a QR code to get a book. So what happens when I get in here? I mean, let's see here. Alrighty. So let's take a look-see. Alright, so we'll pull out the Wheel of Fortune. I want to keep going because, I want to make sure that just at a glance, I'm not seeing, any missing cards in any of the suits, anything like that, or any obvious, repeats. So yeah, there is no book. There is no website provided saying go to this website to get the book. No creepy QR code telling you to scan it to get a download of the book. So, no book. No book at all. No book. No book. Now, obviously, just like a lot of these other ones, the cards are smaller. Not sure how, trying to block the glare and make it so you can see. But what's really, the cardstock quality is, I would say, identical, and it's not fantastic. And Llewellyn decks are nice decks. So, I mean, have I just gotten, really picky in my older age? Or, am I just I do one tarot reading at least a month on my Patreon. So it's not like I don't touch tarot cards ever. And then, on top of that, it's reviews. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know where this deck came from, but I have confusion. Only because the other ones, there were some differences besides just, it's a different size, or it's got a book, it doesn't have a book. But this one, I mean, the fact of the matter is, I hate to say this, Deborah, but I mean, if somebody knows the tarot, the basic tarot, I mean, Elizabeth and Deborah did a great interpretation of, a traditional tarot into this everyday witch version, but it's not like hoodoo tarot where it's we're changing up suits, we're changing how things work, we're really flipping the script. I mean, they did what everyday witch brand does, which is make things witchily accessible. You know what I mean? And so I hate to say it, Deborah, but someone could buy this and they'd be getting essentially the same quality of deck. Now, they wouldn't be getting, just like when you buy an eyeshadow at the drugstore versus a luxury eyeshadow. You're buying that eyeshadow at the drugstore, it's in a cheap plastic case. You're buying a luxury brand, you're getting some fancy metal contraption. So I mean, obviously with Llewellyn, buying it straight from them, well, first off, you're supporting Deborah and Elizabeth Alba, and they deserve supporting because they're both very talented, wonderful people. But you're also getting the really nice book, you're getting the really nice case and all of that, but I mean, shit, that I was not prepared for this to not suck. I mean, this I got to give it a 4. I mean, if you know the tarot, the missing book isn't that big of a deal. Although it is nice to have the book, but it's not nearly as big of a deal. The card, the coloring, the card stock quality, all of that, I mean, kind of the same. I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of creeped out by it though. And so now I'm a little scared for the last one. So the last one is another, I believe, yeah, it's another one that I call Llewellyn, but it's actually, they're in the imprint. It's, is it Lou Scarabeo? Lo Scarabeo? You know, it's one of those names that you see and I never say. And so now I'm super embarrassed, but produces a ton of fantastic, gorgeous tarot decks and oracle decks for Llewellyn. It's it's like their tarot, one of their tarot imprints, and huge fan of their work. And so, also being a Santa Muerte devotee myself, this one wasn't given to me as a review. I bought this one. So, you've got super nice hard cardboard. Again, the very nice, book that goes with it. Super nice. Very nice. We like you always. And then, in here, deck. I think this is like a really nice happy medium for tarot packaging. It's nice, it's sturdy, it's attractive, it's easy to get the cards and deck in and out of. I just approve all around. This particular artist and creator is Fabio Listrani. Again, another name I'm probably butchering. I follow him on social media. He's done a handful of Santa Muerte things, and I'd say the thing with his art is the stuff that I like, I freaking love. And then there's a lot that I'm also like kind of but he does like comic books and he's very diverse in what he does. But see, now here's the thing. Now we're back to like, see, this is a tarot card. I'm like, yeah. See, now that's what I was expecting when I was going to touch the Everyday Witch stock. Like, what is this? So anyway, before I just get all lost in it again, just because I like this card and it's right on the top, it's his rendition of the Fool. Let me try not to get glare so you can get a good look. But love the art. Cardstock quality. Mwah. So here's the, again, smaller size box, no book. This one is making no claims to have anything in here besides the deck. It's got the QR code of questionability. Let's pop it open. Nothing wrong here. Also, okay, so as per usual. Oh, I feel dirty just touching these. Oh my god. Oh, me no likey. No likey at all. Oh. Okay, so before we get too carried away here, I'm trying to find the Fool. You know the Fool? Somehow this one is kind of... Am I missing the Fool? Okay, so the cards in this one are absolutely out of order when I pulled them out, which isn't a big deal if I'm still getting the full deck. And it looks like I'm trying to... So far I haven't found the Fool. It looks like it's just the way it was packaged. They did the major arcana on top of the minor in a weird way. So, okay, first off, I'm not sure you'll be able to see because of the glare, but a bunch of the cards are... Okay, I'm still trying to show you every single card ever. A bunch of the cards have Oh, glare, an inexperienced freaking video person. Oh, you can kind of see it there. See this? This is all damage. These wrinkles and crinkles is all damage done by the manufacturer, not by me. Because this, I just opened it fresh right here. All right, and so then we've got the obvious thing, which is card size is different. But let's talk about this one. So, you know why a bunch of those cards were all crinkly and wrinkly and stuff is because this card stock is horrible. It is so bad. You heard and saw my reaction when I touched. I mean, just like I feel nasty touching it. I mean, I open it up and the cards on top all have like these wrinkly things. And then you have that tactile of going through and it's like, oh, that's because these are so flimsy. You could probably just smush them like this. It's like so just, oh, I mean, like I said, maybe I'm becoming like a cardstock snob in my older age. I don't know, but holy crap, me no likey. These are, oh, okay, so I'm going to, no, these are going to get a 1 because here's the deal. I mean, yes, it's a tarot deck. And so in a lot of ways, you're going to understand it without the book because we ignore the QR code option. So you're going to understand it without the book. But there's a lot of like Mexican, Latin lore interspersed. And if you're not fluent in that, then you're going to need some clarification. And that's what you get from the book. So you need that. So it's like, so you may or may not need the book. And then, the card stock was just so bad. I'm bad. It was like almost a page from a color magazine. It was just, I cannot stress to you how flimsy. This stuff is so flimsy that I might cut it up to make collage art on my talismans instead of frickin' even pretending it's a deck. That's how flimsy this is. It is unacceptable. So I guess the takeaway is, so first off, here's what I always wonder about these. When I see these cheapo decks, I wonder, so, not to sound judgy or anything, but most of these decks, if not all of them, were printed in China. And I know that's done to save a lot of costs. And considering how expensive tarot decks are on every level, including for the person buying them, I'm not going to get all high and mighty about that. But what I wonder then is, are the printers in China running off their own runs to sell at a deep discount? Is that where these are coming from? Or are independents out there taking the decks and turning them into decks again? Or is it even like there are, if you're into your knockoff fashion, which if you're on my budget, you know a little bit about. There are some luxury clothing designers have their clothes still manufactured in China, and they still charge you luxury prices, so that's pretty jacked up anyway. But all of that stuff aside, what I'm getting at is some of those luxury designers make a deal with the manufacturers in China, which is, you make this designer bag, and you make it, to our specifications and blah, blah, blah. And then we give you the right to make that bag yourself, just scrubbing off the serial numbers. So some of the knockoff bags that aren't like trying to just say like, Channel instead of Chanel or like, Dion instead of Dior. But, the ones that look just like a designer bag, but they say nothing, or they have some generic brand name on it that you've never heard of, there's a chance that those are actually not like counterfeit. Those are actually okay. And so I wonder if maybe any of these publishers have that kind of deal. And, they made that kind of deal before America really got access to, like, kind of the Chinese counterfeit market, thanks to things like, Wish and AliExpress and that kind of thing. I find that unlikely, but I do wonder if that's the case. I honestly think that it's just China doesn't care about copyright unless you're infringing on theirs. So, any American company that wants to make your knockoff Heaven's Official Blessing tarot deck, which would probably be gorgeous, but if you wanted to do that, China would like come crashing down on you because you'd be infringing on one of their copyrighted like franchise media things. But as far as they're concerned, if they want to make like a Mickey Mouse tarot deck, they can. We've established that they just don't care. And so I'm guessing that that's what that is. So what is the takeaway from all of this after we've had that discussion? And that is that having known and met not many of these particular creators, but enough of them in time. Obviously, I know Deborah Blake, and I've interacted with some of the other ones. There's a misconception that just because somebody's made a tarot deck, let's see, let's use Deborah Blake's one. What was because I don't know if this is still the case now. So when this first came out, this was $29.99 US, $34.95 Canadian. And that is not cheap. Although I would argue that $30 for all of this is a pretty good value. Even with me misremembering the cardstock quality or being weirded out by it or whatever we want to call that. But the thing is that, people see like this, well, look at this, it's a $30 deck. And every place I go, I see this. And it's true, because if you go to like a chain like Barnes & Noble or something, odds are good you're going to see this in their tarot section. You go to any new age, witch, metaphysical gift shop place, odds are really good you're going to see this deck. Because it's a really good deck. It's a really good deck by a really good artist, with a name recognizable creator. And so there's this impression that because you see it everywhere, that translates into money in pocket. And the fact of the matter is just not the case. And so I don't know details. And even if I did, I wouldn't be talking out of school and giving like specifics about people's like rates of pay or whatever. But, much the same way where, you play that song on Spotify once and the, musician makes like half a cent. It's kind of like that with all of this. These authors, just because you see their names everywhere doesn't mean they're rolling in dough. The fact of the matter is that no matter how big you are with any of these publishers, you're never going to be like, I don't know, I don't read very much mainstream fiction anymore. You're never going to be Dan Brown. You're never going to be Nancy Collins. Am I remembering this right? Am I right? Wrong? You're never going to be any of these guys. If you're not a New York Times bestseller, you're not getting a huge payday out of these. You're making a living. And so it's just intrinsically wrong. It's intrinsically wrong to do what I did, which was buy knockoffs. I make myself feel better by going, well, it's a public service, and also I purchased a lot of these decks, blah, blah, blah. Whatever helps me sleep at night. But the fact is, you shouldn't do it because you're robbing from these people that you like. Now, that said, the decks are not as much of a dumpster fire as I was expecting. I mean, honestly, and I made sure I didn't just order even the knockoff decks. I ordered from different sellers, so I can't even be like, oh, this one like was okay. I was expecting not just poor quality. I was expecting bad like print quality. I was expecting maybe missing cards, maybe cards from the wrong decks, maybe just freaking blank cards, So the fact that I didn't get like just ripped off was already kind of impressive to me because I was expecting to be ripped off. So, I mean, you can make it, I guess what I'm saying is you can make it work, but you're better off just saving up money to buy like the legit thing. If you go to like places like Bookshop, bookshop.org. Like, I have a bookshop. Generally, there's a small discount if you order online there. I hate to say it, but it is true that you can save some money if you use Amazon to buy for Amazon. But also, it's not like yes, there's tons of card manufacturers, but we all know that like the biggest ones are like US Games, Llewellyn, and Weisser. And so if you do yourself a favor, go to those websites, subscribe to their emails. They have a lot of sales running throughout the year. Llewellyn does a really dangerous one where they do like 50% off of a bunch of tarot decks. And actually, I think that's how I got this one. The Santa Muerte Tarot was during one of their sales. But they all do sales, and generally they offer at minimum 15% off on a lot of the sales, and they go a lot deeper than that. So, there's ways to save money and still buy these in a way that the creators are going to get paid. And at the end of the day, you want to make sure that they deserve to make a living too. And it's not like we're not talking about, frickin' Elon Musk wanted to make a tarot deck, counterfeit that mofo like till the end of time. But, these guys are not millionaires. They need your money and your support. So do yourself a favor, buy the decks legitimately. If you like the decks, go to places like Amazon and Goodreads and post quality reviews, share them on your social media, give them as gifts to others, and all in all, just, try to be good. Try. It's hard work, I know, but be good. And, try not to be too mean in the comments about how shitty my video quality is and how crappy I look, because I will cry. I kid you not. If you guys make me cry, I will even video me crying that you made me cry, and I will send it directly to every single person who comments on this video. So have you ever bought a knockoff tarot deck? Do you have tarot thoughts you want to share? Post them in the comments down below. And thank you for watching.